Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of Thrift Store Horde. Who's this? It's me. It's Adam. I'm starting things off this time. That's right. I'm so excited to get back together with the crew to talk about our thrift store finds. We try to do this every month, sometimes more than that because we get excited. But first up with me here, Jason. How's it going?
Hey, Adam. Doing fine. Got some pretty fun stuff I found this go round. I know you've been chomping at the bit. I think probably, what was it, the day after we finished recording the last episode.
Was smiling upon me. Yes, I was very excited.
Yeah. So anxious to see what you have this time around.
And Kevin, you hanging in?
I'm hanging in for it's on my social media. I got boosted. I'm having some side effects for it. But Adam, I thought you were hosting because Jason wasn't available for this episode. Because since last episode, someone got a haircut.
Yeah, look at that. I went to sleep one night. I woke up the next morning and all the hair was just laying on my pillow. I don't know what happened.
It happened to me too, a different way.
Why do you think I wear the hat?
Yeah.
No, my wife was threatening bodily harm or, pulling a Delilah in the middle of the night if I didn't get it cut. So here I am.
Well, and we're glad to all be back together here. This is cool. So this is going to be fun because, I know I have a lot to talk about. I know you guys have some piles as well, but I know we had a question just to start things off. We have members of the Retro Network who are VIP members that ask questions. They're curious. They want to know about our collecting habits and things like that. And one of the things that was brought up by Chad Drove was he wanted to know, what is our collecting focus? What is our habit? What are the things that are on our minds when we're out there scouring for VHS? So I'm curious, do you have a philosophy, Jason, in particular, something you do?
Well, I think we talked about a little bit on the Rental Return podcast, our preview and our wrap-up episodes, that my hunting now is more or less those unique tapes that were ex-rental tapes, anything that's branded by, the big chains, or just oddballs stuff that I found, in particular, as far as like what I'm looking for as far as content goes, more or less like cartoon tapes and maybe some off the wall movies that I enjoy that maybe a few people do, those kinds of things. But I'm not necessarily collecting a certain thing. Like I know you're collecting all the CBS Fox releases, and Chad even mentioned that. I'm not trying to necessarily do anything in any kind of order or collection. It's just kind of what pops out to me and what I find interesting. And, it doesn't matter the format or what it comes in either, whether it's the slip cases or hard cases, but I do like the hard cases. Just it helps keep the tape a little bit better. And usually they're ex-rental tapes that you find them in the hard cases, clamshells, I guess you would say. So that's a little bit about my collecting experience. And mainly, each of my Goodwills has a kind of VHS section, but I do like going to antique malls more because usually there's booths in there that will have tapes, multiple booths, and they kind of change things up a lot more than my Goodwill. It's like usually the same half a dozen or so VHS tapes that I see every time,
And I think I know what Kevin is probably usually keeping an eye out for, but what can you tell us about your habits when you're out and about?
All right. So some of the tapes that I keep an eye out for are not here as visual aids for a reason. And I don't, there's an upcoming
That's not what I was indicating.
No, not those ones. No. So there's an upcoming project wrestling related that I can tell you guys about later. But any tapes and books and magazines and stuff like that is somewhere else right now being prepared. Story for another time. Oh. I'm not doing anything like the CBS Fox other than grabbing wrestling ones. If I see a wrestling one, whether I have it or not, I will grab it. Doesn't matter. But what I got doing, and it actually got me at RetroCon this past year, is certain labels on the side. If it's from certain companies, I'll grab it right away. because it just seems to be like these are companies that made more cult stuff, more oddball stuff, more of your like 80s HBO stuff that I loved. So I'll grab those, even if I've never heard of the movie, even if I don't know what it is. So one of them, there's a logo for a t-shirt, the first booth as soon as we walked into RetroCon this past year. So I didn't make it one table before I started spending money. So I grabbed a couple just to make the examples. I will grab New World video anytime I see it, especially if it's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Ooh, it's a good one.
Yeah. Media, which I have a media shirt, but I can't find it right now. But anything with a media graphic on it. So I got Night of the Living Dead media copy, which actually it's media, it's cool and all, but considering this is public domain, there's tons of videos of it. Vidmark, of course. I'll grab those anytime I see them. That's Warbirds. I like the Star Maker, but they don't sell that well, but they're definitely cult and weird ones. So I'll grab those anytime. This one's also Star Maker, but it's also RNCG, something like that. Like another company with it. I think Chad Young is a big fan of Angel. And then Adam, I know you got these. They're not quite the CBS Fox, but they're the RCA ones that all have the black and the red border and everything for. I'll grab those anytime I see them too. So, and it just depends for me, because part of it's the enjoyment of showing it off with you guys or other bloggers and YouTubers, all of like, look what I found and I have it, and isn't that cool? And some of them I'm gonna flip. That's the only point in grabbing them, especially tapes. If it's under $1, why not? I'll just grab it no matter what it is. But there is like Adam's background, and the person hasn't done anything in a while for it, but there was someone on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube that converted their basement into a video rental store. Yeah. It looked beautiful. I haven't watched this stuff in years. Nothing against him, just haven't watched in years. But Angry Video Game Nerd had like a recreation of a video rental store in his basement too. So there's part of me that's like, I need to grab all these now and maybe do that one day or have a cool setup like Adam. But there's also like, there's a lot of tapes in my closet right now.
Yeah, I mean, on my side, you guys indicated, that I have a particular, predilection. I'll go for my CBS Fox. I'll go for my RCA Columbias with the red border. I love that. But yeah, I tend to collect, there's people who are in it for a certain genre. There are the pro wrestling people. There are the horror diehards, the sci-fi and things like that. I tend to be a label person or a studio. That's how I organize. So like up here, I got like all my Paramounts, and then I got my Warner Brothers, and I got my Universal. Like, so I'm not doing it by genre. I'm doing it by what's the mark, the insignia they have on the tape, and then they're all uniform, over here, stuff like that. So for me, like, I get excited to say, oh, there's a new Touchstone video I don't have yet, even if it's not like a favorite film, I'll be like, oh, but Touchstone only produced so many movies, so now I can have a full collection of those if I work on it. And again, they're the ones also that I grab no matter what. If it's Troop Beverly Hills, if it's The Shadow, if it's Xanadu, like I have multiple copies of all of those, because I'm just gonna grab every time favorite films, but also I would say for me, like a lot of times, like I look at it and I say, okay, like, is this the earliest version? Because there are films that have been released 5, 6, 7, 8 times on video because they were super popular, Back to the Future, Raiders of the Lost Ark, or things like that. Like, so I try to find the earliest version from the 80s that was released. Sometimes that is a Warner, clamshell or MGM, big box, like it's in that style, or sometimes it was just a slipcase based on when it came out. But that tends to, I'll rotate that out of my collection. So I'll say, oh, well, I have one from 1992, but here's the one from 86, bye-bye 92, like I don't need you anymore, that type of thing. So that's where my philosophy goes. But I say we get into a little bit of our recent finds here. And speaking of wrestling here, this one is already spoken for by the aforementioned Chad Young. But this is a WCW New Blood on the Block. Okay. So this is highlighting Johnny B. Bad. We got Flying Brian Pillman. We got Too Cold Scorpio. Oh, and this guy, he doesn't look the same as he did during the Monday Night Wars. That's Marcus Bagwell. Buff. But I was amazed to find this. There's like hardly ever any wrestling at our local Goodwill. So that was really cool. I found another Jane Fonda workout tape. Again, when I see them, I'm just obsessed with her now because like it cracks me up. Here, she's wearing a jean jacket. She's not even like dressed to work out, you know? And I looked it up, or I watched the first few minutes and I looked it up. It says RCA Select-Division video disc on the opening credits. So she must have had a deal with them because it was released in that format too, which is just funny to me. I was like, huh, I didn't know they were producing discs also. But I also found a lot of animation recently that really surprised me. Look at this is a former rental of Jabberjaw. And
Wow.
yeah. So that's a crazy one in this case here, but it was a Blockbuster. So it's got an old school, Please Be Kind Rewind Blockbuster on there. So that was cool. And then I found this other one, which was weird. Siebert.
I remember Siebert.
I do not remember Siebert being a cartoon that was ever on in my area, but so I just threw it in the VCR as soon as I got it because it's a Just for Kids release, which is a really cool label. But when I put it in, I was like, somebody taped over it with Smurfs. And I was like, oh no, it is a Smurfs tape just inside. Oh. But the Smurfs tape plays great. So
that's good.
The other one too, this happened over consecutive days that I was visiting. I found this series that I didn't know existed, but is the Stars of Space Jam animation collection. So I went in and just found this one of Bugs Bunny. I went online on Twitter and I said, hey, does anybody know about these? They're like, oh yeah, I had a Donald or I had a Daffy Duck one. I had whoever, So I go back the next day just by chance. And then I got a Roadrunner and Coyote one and a Tasmanian Devil one. So they just kept popping them out there. I watched them though. There is no reference to Space Jam. There's not like Michael Jordan doing an introduction. There's nothing. It's just the box. Otherwise, it's just old cartoons playing. So it's just an old collection. So definitely a cash grab. But I thought it was funny. They did have a cool commercial for vintage Kids WB programming, so you got to see like Superman and Animaniacs and all these other stuff, so that was cool. Last one here though that I'll show off, I showed you guys Star Kid recently, right? Well, I got another lenticular cover here. This is bizarre. I don't know if I can get there we go, sideways is better. See, we got a kid and then there's a demon. So this is Bram Stoker's Shadow Builder. So obviously trying to go off the popularity of Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's in the public domain, as Kevin was mentioning earlier. So I guess these guys figured we could make it. But I was just like, and it's got Michael Rooker and Tony Todd in it. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Candyman himself is in here. So anyway, that was just a really unique one. Again, finding horror is so rare. So I was like, oh, cool.
Especially those lenticular covers, man. I'd be picking that up myself, and I am not a horror fan in the very least. So
yeah, at this point, cool. I have 3 because now I have Star Kid, I have the Shadow Builder, and the Phantom. That's another lenticular one. So
those Blockbuster labels tick me off when I'm at a thrift store because if there's mold, you're not going to see it because that label's covering the whole pool there.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
All right, who's next?
What you got over there, Kevin?
All right, so I have a theme this week. My theme is looking in weird places. Okay. So you two get a lot of music and find like cool pop music. I did not find any cool music, but I found music. So this is absolutely a flipping haul for this batch. Because I had the time, I was bored. I was like, out of curiosity, let me just start scanning some of these to see. Yeah. I highly recommend jazz and some Christian ones. New music, anything that looks local. Like anything that you're like, what the heck is this? Go ahead and scan it. Like scan it with eBay, Amazon app to see what it is. So I'm not gonna remember all of these, but I'll say I got them for dirt cheap, and they're all at least $20 when I flip them. So it was worth it. Songs of the Erie Canal. Like, I have no interest. The ERIE, boating on a bullhead. This sounds like the monorail episode of The Simpsons. Extra songs on it. Favorite hymns of the Westminster Abbey Choir. Also sealed, which they love their sealed stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Matriarch, Iroquois Women's Songs, Women's History Month. But talk about something that people would just get rid of or not buy or toss out, or like, honestly, if you were cleaning up someone's house, you'd say, I don't want this, I'm gonna just donate it and get rid of it. But
it feels like stuff somebody bought for a college course on music culture or something, you know.
Wouldn't shock me. Organ Fireworks sealed. Organ Fireworks 11. So I don't know if I have to listen to 9 first and then 11 to follow the storyline.
There's 11 of those things?
Apparently. Might be more. Double Galage, 25 Swedish dance melodies on accordion.
What?
This thing was like $25 though. I mean, not that I paid, but like that's going for.
Wow.
And then someone, you said it might have been like a college course or something. It's at least going to shows because this one was autographed.
Oh,
Michael Feinstein. I will never listen to any of these. They were purposely bought just to sell. But I mean, I think every one of us goes through CDs and music, and we would ignore classical, world music, stuff like that. But it's worth it to just kind of fund your own purchases with it.
It's pretty cool. I found right around 9/11 or shortly after, they released Whitney Houston's Star Spangled Banner and America the Beautiful on a CD single. And I did not pick them up. I might go back and pick them up. I found 3 of them still sealed. I looked on eBay. They go for around $3 or $4 a piece. And they were like $1 a piece or something. But I thought that was interesting. You can find off the walls. It doesn't have to be pop music like you're finding there either, to if you're looking to turn a profit, that is,
I'm not looking to listen to it in the car, so.
Come on, Organ Fireworks, man, I want to hear what that sounds like.
With the top down.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, where do I want to go with this? Oh, you had music. I'm going to go ahead and do my music haul, and I'm going to count this, even though it was through the Goodwill website. I'm always touting that, and essentially I'm buying from a thrift store, so I never would find something like this locally, but bought a lot of singles, 34 of them to be exact, for less than $1 a piece. I'm just going to burn through them so you can see what's going on here. I have a few of them already, but you know how I love my singles. So starting things off with Johnny Van Zant, Brickyard Road. We got TLC, Waterfalls.
Wow.
We got Alanis Morissette, You Learn. Daryl Hall and John Oates. I love that it's landscape on this. I never see any that are landscape, This is Don't Hold Back Your Love. My mother had this one. I can't remember if I have it or not still, but Extreme, More Than Words.
That's cool.
I love that. This one was the bane of my existence for a long time. All for One, I Could Love You Like That. That was requested so many times when I worked at the radio station. Billy Joel's Lullaby. We got Bad Company. If you need somebody. I have this one. This is a double, so I might give that one away. There's Bette Midler, Wind Beneath My Wings, and Under the Boardwalk, actually. It's weird, like these backtrack cassettes, they're I've had a few of them where they just got the barcode on the front. There's no picture, and it's mainly it's a sticker actually. So the background is the same, and they just slap a
that's weird.
Slap a sticker on the thing. So kind of weird. Let's see who else we got. Sarah Hickman. I don't know who that is. We've got just throw her on the floor. Kathy Mattea. There's another Hall and Oates. So close. Chris Isaac's Wicked Game. Yes. Love that one. There's your Christian artist of the day, Jars of Clay's Flood. The Rembrandts. This is Just the Way It Is, baby. Whoa, whoa. Sawyer Brown. John Mellencamp. Key West. There's some other ones in here. Let's see. There's Don Henley's New York Minute. It's a little bit older. I think from the 80s. Yeah, I don't know who those people are. Voices That Care. Okay, I got to see what this one is.
We Are the World, Part 7.
Produced by David Foster. So David Foster is a pretty well-known guy for arranging things. Lead vocals are Ralph Tresvant, Randy Travis, Celine Dion, Peter Cetera. Yeah, this is some kind of
charity thing.
Compilation there of artists. All right, we're about halfway. Tom Petty, there we go. Learning to Fly.
Cool.
That's from 89. REM's Losing My Religion. We've got Tears in Heaven, Eric Clapton, The Scorpions, Send Me an Angel, Styx, Show Me the Way. Oh, here we go. And this one's about falling apart, so you know it got some airplay. There's Bryan Adams from the Robin Hood soundtrack. This one's great. Buffy the Vampire Slayer album sampler.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was like, what? So I didn't even know there was an album, let alone a little sampler. So
At least
I thought
two
that
of
was
them.
pretty cool. There's Mariah Carey and Boys to Men, One Sweet Day.
Oh, love that song. Love that one.
There's Whitney, I'm Every Woman. Aaliyah's If Your Girl Only Knew. I think she's the one that passed away.
She is.
Oh my gosh. Talk about nails on a chalkboard. Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On. Celine Dion, Where Does My Heart Beat Now? At the Bottom of the Ocean. Donna Lewis, I Love You Always Forever. I love you always forever.
Everybody now.
And probably my favorite country artist of all time, Alan Jackson's Little Bitty. I love that picture. He's in the car. He's got his bare feet hanging out there. Or no, I guess he's in the boat. I don't know what that is. That doesn't look like a car studio. That was a pretty cool haul, right?
Yeah. I mean, you think that was all one person's collection probably, and they just threw it on the shelf together?
It could have been. I don't know. It just seemed like maybe there was a Goodwill. Can't remember which Goodwill it was in the country, but maybe they just had a plethora and, hey, let's throw them up there and get rid of them. You know, some crazy person will buy them all. Me. All right, Adam.
All right. I'm saving my music for last, but I do have something that I'm sure is very familiar to Kevin in his day-to-day, because I was walking. I don't really pay attention to like the novels and the books. Every once in a while at Goodwill I go by and I'll be like, hey, is there some graphic novels tucked in there, or is there, you know, maybe a movie novelization will just jump out at me. But this time around it was a different type of novelization, or novel series I should say, and that was the X-Men novels. Okay, so this was part of a series called Siege Book 1, but you know, obviously very shiny. It was the era of chromium, you know, so even in the books it got there. So then here's another one in that series, Mutant Empire. So that was a big deal. And then this was one that seems like it came after, but called Smoke and Mirrors. But this looks like Hildebrandt art. I think that's the Hildebrandt brothers there. Yeah. But the one that really excited me in that set is one that I remember seeing on the bookstore shelves back in the day and never bought it myself. And that is Star Trek The Next Generation meets the X-Men. So,
wow.
I'm going to guess Peter David wrote it.
No, this was actually Michael Jan Friedman. He was the other prolific Star Trek comic book guy. So there was that going on. So those were my book finds. But also in the toy aisle, you know, my 3-year-old always drags me over there. That's the deal. He gets to choose his toy. And so I found a couple things. They're actually already on eBay right now, but I found a plush Leonardo here with suction cups. So giving Garfield a run for his money, you know. So, but he's still in pretty good shape overall. All his, you know, parts and pieces are there. And then this other one was really kind of random. This is Raphael's head. Okay. He's even got his little bandana piece goes up and down in the back. Okay. He's got his baseball hat on because you open it up and inside it's a baseball park, like Mighty Max, you know?
What?
So it's this was part of a series called Mini Mutants. And so you could actually, I don't know if I can get that open here. Anyway, but they had like flags that pop out and all that stuff. And so it originally came with like figures and all those things, which obviously would not survive, but it's just kind of a fun little set to have. I thought that was a neat piece to find. So yeah, those are some of my more random finds going here and there.
I saw that just this past week that I had not realized they had made was, and I can't remember if it was on YouTube or where I saw it, but they did, your Power Rangers that have the rotating heads.
Oh, yeah.
They did that with the turtles too, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, they had a bunch of transforming turtles, ones where they would turn into actual turtle bodies. And I actually have another one of those Mighty Max style play sets that I found that is just a turtle body. Then the shell opens up and there's the sewer play set inside. So,
yeah, I somewhere I saw them like rotating the head, or popping the head up from the shell or something. And even like Bebop and those characters, Rocksteady, they did those rotating heads.
Yeah, by the end of that line, they were just doing it all. They were literally just like, whatever we could do to give this a gimmick to sell to kids, because they've seen every version of the Turtles.
All right, Kevin.
All right. So again, with the theme of looking in weird places. So if I go to a used bookstore, I'll figure out where I think they have the comics. Is it in sci-fi? Is it in kids? Is it in art? Found them all over the place. I'll check sci-fi section, and I usually do a pretty thorough walkthrough of the whole used bookstore. You never know where something's gonna, land. But what I've noticed lately is in the international section. Now, most of us would skip it if you don't speak that language or can read that language. But I am finding a lot of manga lately that is all in Japanese. So I've been just grabbing it. Don't know what it is. I have to end up doing like a Google image search or scanning the barcode or whatever just to figure out the English translation of it. And then so I can sell it. I have done very well previously with things in Russian and things in Korean that I have found at thrift stores. Because honestly, I think a big part of it is I'm in the US and the shipping is US shipping. So if you're already in the US, you're not going to want to pay that overseas fee for it. And so even if mine is a little bit more than the original one from whichever country it is, with the shipping difference, I'm cheaper. So why wouldn't I? But I found a lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and again, I don't know what any of them are. Some horror comic. I don't know. Ariel looks interesting. Silent Mobius, which thankfully there's some English on here a little bit. A lot of them say horror comics too. I don't know if it was a brand or a subheading or just to find in stores. This one just says something comics. So I apparently not horror, but I don't know what it is. I'm gonna guess that this is Ranma 1/2.
Yeah, cool.
Yep, which was a very big anime. Right after Akira hit, they brought over Ranma 1/2, and they're like, it's Japanese cartoons. People like it. I'm like, there's different cartoons, different audiences, but no one cared then. Okay, Ranma 1/2 again. This Ninku thing seems super familiar, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's a game of it or crossover or something. I have no clue. And this is the first one that I saw, and I thought it was just like a mass market paperback sci-fi story, and that's why I started digging through. But just two astronauts digging through something, like kind of reminds me of Alien.
Yeah.
But I saw that was faced out, and then I found the rest. I'm like, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try it. It's worth that. But I have noticed, if you have a smaller ethnic community in your city, check the thrift stores by them, and that's where you'll find stuff like that. So we ended up with like a for the size of my area, a shockingly big Asian population just for the size of my area. I'm like, okay, I don't want to settle here. I don't know why you guys did. The town drives me insane. But for some reason, and so I'll find stuff like that all the time. So all right, they were done with it. They don't want it anymore, but that doesn't mean someone next state over, somewhere else in the country doesn't. Well, worth
it makes me realize, like in my house growing up, we had a college in town, and we always had foreign exchange students, mostly Japanese, that would come and stay in our home, and they would leave behind their big digests of manga, like phone book size stuff. And I should have just saved them. I should have just collected them over those years. But I was like, it's not American comics, and I would just toss it out.
Well, and there is a collector atmosphere now, but it's more, oh, I never read this, do you have this old one so I can read it? They don't have the value of like first appearances and I need to get it slabbed and graded and all. They don't have that, but they do have, oh, here's all these old books and I missed chapters 2 and 3 of this title, so let me buy that. But yeah, they'll leave them on subways, at work, whatever. Hey, someone else can enjoy this when I'm done.
Yeah. All right, Jason, what do you have next?
Kevin, I walked into my Goodwill store maybe 3 weeks ago, and they had 2 of the big totes, the plastic totes, full of manga books. Oh, and they were $25 a piece for the totes.
Oh, $25 a tote, not per book, but per tote.
Per tote, yeah. So there might have been, I don't know, it might have been about $1 a book or something in there. But what I hate about my Goodwill is when you do something like that and they throw it in a box or something, they'll tape over the top of it so you can't like root through there and see what all it was. And I was like, I could have at least gone through there, taken a few pictures and see if Kevin might have wanted them or something. But I turned the corner and somebody was dragging them up to the cash register. So I think I've made up for that though, because I found some stuff for Kevin at the thrift store just this past week. And I tend to hear when Kevin's on here, when Adam's on here, and I have stuff that goes through my mind. So when I'm flipping through comics, I'm like, okay, I think Kevin collects these. So New Avengers. I found 2 books of New Avengers. This is number 10. And then this one is actually, I think, a like 0 copy because it says not for resale. But yeah, I couldn't find a number on it. I didn't open it up. But so got you a couple New Avengers books. And then you came to us with all those Judge Dredd comics a couple episodes ago. So I immediately saw these and I was like, you want these? And Kevin's like, yeah. So there's a couple Judge Dredd issues.
Cool.
Yep, Eagle, which is one of the first ones to bring it over to the States.
Yeah, so I know Eagle Comics is like a UK brand, but these are more or less the US sized books. And their books over there are a little bit bigger, right?
Yep.
So I guess they just kind of translated them to
just make it appealing for American audiences.
And then I found, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hardcore. Now these are not Judge Dredd because the ones you had were Judge Dredd, right?
Yeah.
So these are number 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, and 23 in the series. So they're all yours, buddy.
Yeah, before Valiant really got popular, as Adam know for Wizards, like hardcore was before it really blew up and got big, which means those are lower print runs and more rare too.
Well, and the first issue of Hardcore actually had a Jim Lee cover that he traded for concert tickets to the guys. They hooked him up with concert tickets, and he's like, dude, I want to do something for you. Let me do a cover for your upcoming comic. They're like, okay. Like the only one that's worth anything.
Yeah. So now a few comics for me that I found. I have collected this series. I don't quite have all of them yet, but Atari Force. You guys familiar?
So hard too. Yeah, I was trying to do before other events in life. I was trying to read through all of that series and just comment on it because it was like an anniversary year for it, and I just fell behind on it and I haven't gone back. But it's fun. It's actually really fun.
I liked it. It's got that kind of team up atmosphere, and I think I've got probably, I think there's 18 in all, somewhere around in there, 18 or 19. And I probably got 15 or 16 of them, but I don't have this is the smaller issue, number 1, which I found. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to pick that up. I thought this one was interesting from '86. This is the DC Who's Who.
Always
Yeah.
So you got all of the fun characters in here and backgrounds, and more DC characters than I even know existed. Anytime I see a Star Comics label, I got to pick it up, even though it's strawberry shortcake. I love the Star Comics brand.
But will surprise you on those is seeing who wrote and drew them that have gone on to such bigger things, but that was where they got in the door.
Mm-hmm. All right, continuing on. This was the first one out of the 3 issues. I like to collect the movie adaptations. And I got number 3 of Muppets Take Manhattan. So I'll be grabbing the other 2 when they are available. Let's see what else. Oh, so I was interested in this just because I picked up some of the trading cards. And I thought, well, I'll just pick it up and see how it is. But William Shatner's Tech World. Or what was the TV show? Tech War?
Tech War.
Tech War.
Yeah. I have no point of reference for that other than I know who William Shatner is. So we'll see. I'm going to go through those couple issues. And then, like I said, I got some of the Tech World or Tech War. I don't know which one. I think it's the World because it probably has comic images on the trading cards. So, and there's William Shatner's autograph cards in there too. So I figured, what the heck? They're like less than $1 a piece. I did find, I love the book and record sets. Did not have I guess it's a cassette that goes along with it. It's got the picture on the back, of course. But immediately when I saw Voltron, I was like, woo. So the Attack of the Sand Monster. Yeah, you can see him there popping in the cassette on the back.
That's great.
So I'll have to see if I can find that. Last ones, I'm a big collector of G.I. Joe. As far as comics goes, that's pretty much what got me into comics. And I did not have any of the Cobra World Order issues. I tend to collect just stuff that's written by Larry Hama and kind of leave the rest for dust. But because Larry Hama is my G.I. Joe. But this one was exciting to find because I did not know this was out there. And Marvel Age kind of teases you with their covers and things. It's not really a book. It's more, I guess, informational kind of stuff. But here's one with G.I. Joe, new G.I. Joe characters on the front that I did not have to add to my collection. So
that was their like hype catalog book. So it was actually cheaper than any other comic on the rack at the time. And sometimes you got like previews or interviews or something like that in there.
Yeah, like I have a lot of She-Hulk. Like She-Hulk was previewed in Marvel Age several times before her book hit the shelves or her relaunch in the late 80s. Yeah.
Oh, I just love the logo and the artwork. But yeah, so I'm like, well, what was the first comic book appearance of He-Man? And a lot of people go back to Marvel Age. There's a Marvel Age with He-Man, but there was a insert in several of, I think it's DC comics. One of them was, I think he has a battle with Superman or something. But it was like a 16-page insert, and I've collected a couple of those. The same way with Mask. Mask had a 16-page insert in several DC comics at that time before they got their own series. And then finally, how about a cracked magazine for you, Adam?
Woohoo! Yeah.
Bionic Man in Star Wars. So get a little bit closer image there, but yeah, I'm a sucker for tore up, beat up, red, cracked, and mad magazines at $1 a piece, whatever. Yeah. A lot of stores now I'll see, like you go to a traditional comic store, they'll have mad and cracked if they're good shape, like $10 a piece, some of them. And I'm like, really? So I'm happy to find those copies just to read them, thumb through them,
Yeah, they're cool. They're fun, man. It's a fun look back in time. Yeah, what was popular, what they were going to parody, and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, here is my grand finale, guys. This is what I was so excited to tell you. As soon as it showed up, I was just like, I can't believe it. So, I have a record player. It was mostly purchased just to play my international versions of the Coming Out of Their Shells album that I buy, because it was only released on cassette tape in the US, but internationally it was on record and CD and all this other stuff. But I still go by the vinyl racks at Goodwill every once in a while just to check it out. Usually, again, beat up polka records, just like it's nothing I want. It's Christmas albums galore. But this time I just walked in there and just sitting like freshly just set on the shelf. I was just like, what am I looking at? I'm looking at Joe Satriani surfing with the alien.
Nice.
Oh, and for those who don't know, obviously that's the Silver Surfer on there. Only for a limited time could he use that. Nowadays in reissues, Joe Satriani, no more of the Silver Surfer on there. And then so it's a very fun mix of 80s music here. Okay, I got this one, Surf Punks. Now, I've never heard of surf punks, and it's basically just Ramones with a little bit more of a surf edge, but it is just so 80s, the look of it. I mean, growing up in Southern California, these are the guys I just saw walking around everywhere. So that cracks me up. And then a run of David Lee Roth albums. So this is his EP that had Just a Gigolo and California Girls. So that's all there. And the great thing about these is they all the inserts, and the sleeves are in great shape.
Oh, man.
Like just the records themselves, just no scratches. This is definitely somebody's collection they took care of. Here's the Eat 'Em and Smile album,
Yes.
and all that. And then also this one, which is an album I'd never heard of, Skyscraper.
That's waiting. That has Living in Paradise is the major single, and they recorded the video of him scaling that mountain cliff, whatever it is.
Wow, okay.
Just like living in paradise.
Not a bad song at all.
Oh, it's a great song.
No.
Gosh.
Gonna go deeper into the world of metal. We got some Ronnie James Dio. This is a Dio album, Sacred Hearts, so that's just super fun to find some Dio in the wild. You don't find that often. Same with Judas Priest. There's a Turbo, this Judas Priest album, just some awesome art on there. None of their bigger hits on here that I'm aware of, but still a fun album. Okay, this next one was really weird. Joe Piscopo and Eddie Murphy, the Honeymooners rap.
Wow.
You had to.
Yeah, so bizarre. It's got 3 different mixes of this Honeymooners rap of them just imitating those characters, but doing a rap song.
I have never heard of that. I have the Rappin' Rodney record. Rodney Dangerfield, but had no idea those two teamed up for.
Yeah. I mean, it had to have been just before, probably during, I would assume, their SNL days. So before Eddie Murphy was out. Now, this one was big. Again, for you metalheads out there, Wasp, their debut album. I mean,
nice.
These guys had exploding cod pieces. They were eating raw meat on stage. Like they were just out of control. Plus, Blackie Lawless, the main guy, he was friends with Ace Frehley. It's just Ace Frehley hit about 10 years before he hit it. This is a big one for fans of the Sunset Strip. Faster Pussycat. This is the first pressing of their album, so this is fairly rare.
Wow.
That was cool to find that. And then also Scorpions Worldwide Life double album. So that's just, man, the Scorpions.
Oh, show again. I think the camera's on me.
So there we
go. Say
Right
something.
there. Yeah, so we got a full look there. So yeah, so that's cool.
I love those double albums that fold out like that. I've got the Cars Heartbeat City that does that. Oh, it's so great.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and now this one, another iconic album. Look what the cat dragged in.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Now,
man.
The best thing about this is, in addition to the record itself, it has all these inserts. So it has like, an actual like lyric sheet thing. It's got this is just like a promotional piece on there, but then it also is telling you, look, there's an order form for like merchandise from this record label, which is so cool. Like,
man, you just never find inserts like that.
Yeah.
in records. At least I never do.
Yeah. And then speaking of those gatefolds, the Empire Strikes Back soundtrack.
Oh my gosh, Adam.
Yes, and this gatefold, it's got full booklet here, and they're just in great shape. Like, it is just beautiful. It's a little worn, you can see the record there, but of all the records, this is the only one that shows wear. It's a little bit older, but yeah, just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
My brother had this, and he converted it to a cassette tape, and he used to play it in the car, and we'd drive around and pretend that we were in a dog fight in space. We would have fun with that. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I've been dying to find one in the wild. We used to have a record store here, and do you want us to order something for you? No, I want to find it in the wild, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, to see the Ghostbusters album, I was just like, I cannot believe it. As with this last one, this was actually the first one that was sitting out that got my attention. The Pac-Man
There you
Fever
go.
album. Buckner and Garcia. This, I thought it was just the song. Like, I thought it was just like a 12-inch single, but it's a full album.
Full album, yeah.
Do the Donkey Kong
is another one.
I love Froggy's Lament. Froggy's Lament was hilarious. But the cool thing about it actually has tips for playing the game. It has cheats on the inside, and it shows you all the different maps, and it gives you little hints on how to beat Pac-Man. I mean, same on both sides, basically, but it's just wow.
Yeah.
So what
a haul, man. What a haul.
Yeah.
I can't find any good records ever.
My finale is going to pale in comparison. Let me tell you.
Sorry. Kevin, what do you got?
All right. So to double back a second, Jason, where did you find the Cracked magazines? Like, what was with it?
What was with it? It was just kind of random. I found, what was the other magazines I found? They had some taller magazines, and come to find out, they were which I should probably pick up for you. It's the bigger Conan comics.
Oh, cool. Savage Sword.
And they were really, really beat up. I mean, not even whatever the lowest grade is. They were falling apart and everything. I was like, oh man, I know Kevin would love them, but I don't know. Maybe I'll still pick them up for you if they'll make me a deal on them. But yeah, like with the taller, there's a few things like that and there was like Cracked, just kind of in with those.
So speaking of digging for stuff that shape, my local area I've discovered recently with the Life magazines, which every antique mall seems to have like a basket of Life magazines, or this is the one that tripped me up, sheet music. So they'll just put stuff in that's the same size. So I found a couple cool things digging through that weren't in didn't have a dedicated area for them. So we got Cracked Monster Party. Start out here. We have, so I don't even know, but just cover alone, something from the Air and Space Museum featuring Captain Midnight, which is obviously like old reappropriated Golden Age art.
Yeah.
So just
Captain Midnight had a radio show too, I'm pretty sure, back in the day.
They all had radio shows. Yeah, so that's 87, 88 from Smithsonian. So I have no idea what they were doing for it, but I'm glad I found it. That's it down there. All right. Fantastic Four. Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, The Thing, and of course, Herbie the Robot.
Wow, cool.
So there's a little coloring book for it.
But it's a coloring book. Okay.
Yep. The fact that it was Herbie, I had to get it. And it's really, there's not that much done in it. So it looks like they just took some old Jack Kirby panels, cleaned them up a little bit to just make them, fit for the coloring book.
That's awesome.
I had to have that.
Those coloring books, man, they'll sell.
Yep. All right, let's do this one first. Found magazine. I don't know if you guys know of this one. Very fun to read through. It used to be a site, but it's stuff people found. So they'll just be like, oh, I found this weird thing. Like, I found this picture and it's adorable. And what happened here? I found someone's grocery list and I'm curious what else was going on in their life. This is just stuff that people literally find in the ground, abandoned stores, whatever. And they're trying to be like, let's imagine what's going on in this person's life.
And they published a magazine about it.
There's a ton of them for it. There's a
Wow.
ton of them. Like, please leave me alone. Police have been notified. Written on a hotel stationery. There's a story there. We can't deny it. The bunny or rabbit are stupid. Get rid of them. Written on Whole Foods customer communication. I am not sure what bunny or rabbit you refer to here. Please be more specific. Thanks. So I was losing it. I'm like, I have to get that. Adam, are you familiar with the Marvel fan clubs?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so Wham, I think, was maybe just shy of when Wizards started. That was the most
Right.
recent one. But they also did Foom.
Oh,
Friends of Old Marvel.
yeah.
So it has someone's address on the back, so be careful. Delivered right to your home for just being part of the fan club. Jason, with your printing knowledge and mine, boy, having blue text on one side and black on the other, kind of the printing decision was made here when they're putting together this magazine.
Yeah.
But I mean, total fanzine stuff. Like it looks like they forgot to lay down another layer of colors on it. But I was so happy with that one. All right, this is safe. I made very careful of it. It is not an older one, but it is still Vampirella.
Wow.
I think this is post Harris Comics having them.
Really?
With your Bad Girl time frame. Yeah, it's a magazine size. So it's $3.95.
Huh.
So that might fit into the time frame there, just based on price. But that's my current guess, because Harris lost it for a little while. It's also has a Kiss guitar giveaway.
What? I can't believe it. I got to see that ad. You got to send me a picture. Wow. Oh, yeah. So that's during the reunion tour in 96, 95 era. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm close then. I'm not quite. I'm close to it. All right. And then we mentioned She-Hulk, but I found the Marvel graphic novel.
Yeah. So I have a copy of that I bought years ago. And the guy that sent it to me, he wrote a little note and put it inside. It said, I hope you will enjoy this as much as I did. And I was like, I'm just reading it, guy. I'm just reading it.
I mean, it's beautiful art. That's a Shield helicarrier on there and all.
Oh, yeah.
The art's absolutely beautiful. But for those that don't know, like we go into a store now and there's a whole section of graphic novels and everything. But at the time, the Marvel graphic novel was a series. So every month, 2 months, whatever, would be a new story from Marvel graphic novel was the series. So there's a few of them. Death of Captain Marvel, I think, is probably the biggest. The first New Mutants, which eventually became X-Force, debuted in one of these. So yeah,
Man loves, God kills, or God loves, man kills.
I can't find where mine ended up. So yeah, that was 85 for it. And of course, She-Hulk debuting on Netflix. I'm guessing this summer.
Yeah, good find.
All right, Jason, back to you.
All right, we're gonna wrap things up with some plush things that I've found. One of the classic characters from the, I guess, probably late 70s, early 80s era, which I believe started out as a greeting card, is Ziggy. You guys know Ziggy, right?
Sure.
I'm familiar with his work.
For the longest time growing up, Christmas time, it was always in our Christmas stuff, was a Ziggy that had a Santa outfit on, Santa hat and coat and everything. And I always liked it. And I have been looking, and when I'm looking for books and stuff, I know they've released Ziggy comic strips in book format. And I usually send it to old school Tim. Tim is a big Ziggy fan. And I think he had maybe one special cartoon special back in the early 80s.
He has a Christmas special.
It's a Christmas special? Okay, yeah. So like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Ziggy, but when I saw these, I was great. We're kind of in that weird space between Valentine's Day and Easter. So if your Goodwills are like mine, they'll push all of that stuff kind of out front, dig it all out of storage or wherever they get it from, and pump out all the holiday stuff that they can find. So in one of my Goodwills, I found two Ziggies that are Easter. So here is Ziggy, and it's kind of like a pajama thing here, but he's got jelly beans all over, and he's got bunny slippers.
That's really adorable.
So I thought that was fun for $1. That one Came out in 1994. And then I found another one in a bunny costume here. Happy Easter. And that one of these was older, I thought. That one's 86. So
Wow.
I want to say they maybe sent they sold these at Hallmark.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, that reminds me of stationery stores. That's where they always had those
Right,
comic strip
yeah.
characters.
Yeah, Hallmark, I think, was maybe what sold those. And then I found one at a different Goodwill that's really big. There's Ziggy. He's got this fun jacket on, and it's got little love notes inside in the lining and stuff too. So I put that one up on Instagram because he just kind of stood out. $1 a piece. I mean, can't beat that. Even the big one for $1. I'm like, I'm gonna be able to hawk that on eBay if I want to, but I still have all my other stuff, my Energizer Bunny and all my other little stuffed animals and things, Garfield from the past that I haven't got back up on my shelf yet. I'm trying to figure out what to do with them, but I thought that would be some fun additions to my yes, I still have like stuffed animals. So there you have it, Ziggy, to end things on. That haul, I can't believe that haul, Adam. I'm so insanely jealous that you even found those at a store, let alone all together like that. I mean, that's like gold right there to me.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen again. I mean, that was a once in a lifetime, like, whoa, you know. So that was really cool, and yeah, it got me very excited. But we are excited that all of you joined us. Thank you so much for being part of episode 12 of Thrift Store Horde. This is a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, everybody had some great stuff this time around, and there's always more to be found. So if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe now. Make sure you are part of the TRN TV family. And if you want to get the extra experience, I always say become a VIP and join the Retro Network Patreon, because you get a whole bunch of awesome extra content. Plus, you get access to this whole community that is happening on Slack, and people just talking back and forth, sharing their finds and talking about their favorite, you know, shows and everything happening on the Retro Network. So it's definitely something to check out. Check out our individual channels. I know Jason always puts the information in the show notes down below, so you should be able to click over and see what else we're sharing with you on our various channels. But hey, until next time, we'll see you at the thrift store.